back to the channel. Now, I know I said in the last video that we were going to be going to the scales, getting ready to go racing. I'm going to go to the scales, get the truck weighed, see how much it actually weighs, and then go to the track later on. Right now, we're in a bit of a crunch. What actually I found out, and what's been holding me back from getting videos out to you guys, is that we have a cracked header. Yeah, they're only a year and a half old, and one of them is cracking. So I'm gonna show you where that's at. But as of right now, we're working on getting it pulled out. Got a game plan going on. Driving the Power Stroke for the week. May get some videos on it, but it's not a truck that we really do anything to. I have tuned it, but that's just what we're driving while the Battle Wagon is down. Right now, it's not going anywhere. I don't want to risk that header breaking off or anything like that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me just show you. All right, so as you can see, I've already got started. I've got some tools here I brought with me from my work, and we got the fender out, rock light disconnected, and all the wires just kind of hanging there. But there's our header. We have JBA Shorty headers. It's a little dirty under here, but no worries. These headers have been good to me, a lot better than those log manifolds that come on them. But what we have a problem with is, if I can zoom in here, is right there on that weld, right there, where the tip of that bolt is close to, is where the weld is that is cracking, and it's starting to crack almost all the way around. It's really hard to get it in the picture, but that's where it's cracking at. So we're gonna pull this header off. I have a friend who welds, and one of the things he knows how to do is TIG weld. So we'll get it cleaned up, get it TIG welded, and get it fixed. But this is gonna be one of those things, trying to go racing this Saturday, and we're gonna have to get it off throughout the week, a little bit at a time. After work, it gets dark early, only have about an hour to work before it gets dark. So we're gonna work on getting this thing off, and I'll be driving the Ford while we're working on it. So hopefully get it off in a couple days, working about an hour at a time, get it fixed and get it back on before Saturday, so we can go to Midnight Drags in Tulsa and go racing. So that's where we're at right now. Gonna focus on getting that done. Try to get it weighed beforehand, but if that doesn't happen, they do have scales at the track. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna get going on it. I don't want to waste any more daylight, but it's gonna be over a few days, probably over the whole week, that I'm working on getting this done. But we'll show you where exactly it's cracked. But right now, I need to get this thing off, so we're gonna focus on that right now. All right, now I've got the portion of the exhaust coming off that header removed. I've got two 15s on my truck. There'll be 14 stock for these two bolts for the flange. Wideband O2 sensor, got that pulled out of the exhaust. You're gonna have two more O2 sensors that, the other one's up over here. Yeah, you're gonna have two more O2 sensors that you're gonna want to remove. These are for the right side, we're pulling the left side. But they'll be like this. You can actually unplug these from up above the transmission for the side. But if your truck is stock, you'll have to pull this whole Y pipe out at one piece, and you can't do it on the ground. You have to have a lot of clearance, and a lift is preferred. But I have, when we did the cats, I have it after the O2 sensors to where I can remove half of the Y pipe to get to a lot of this stuff. I did that so that way I could pull the transmission easier, but it comes in handy when you're just trying to pull one side of the exhaust also. So careful with your O2 sensors, pulling those out, and then pull that out and get your Y pipe out of the way, and that's how we get to that. But here we can see that's our crack. Yeah, it's cracking pretty good right after the collector there, so that's where we're gonna get fixed. I'll show you that half the Y pipe to give you an idea of what we're working with and where the O2 sensors are. See, here's what I was talking about with that Y pipe. Now, yeah, this is the factory Y pipe, so it's got some nasty spots on it from where it got muddy back whenever it was used for that off-road type of deal. But here's your O2 sensors. These are actually new, but they rust because they get dirt and mud on them. It's just dirt that's burnt on. But these O2 sensors, you can actually unplug them rather than pulling them out of the exhaust, but be careful doing that. And see here, I have it to where I can have it clamped, but it's after the O2s. So it's about 6 inches after the O2s, so I don't have to worry about any kind of contamination of the exhaust sample and the reading. Also, this is the one that actually controls your air-fuel ratio. This is just the post-catalytic converter O2 sensor, your downstream O2 sensor. So it's not as important with air-fuel ratio. This is the one that's really going to collect that. And then our wideband bung is right here. So I did this that way I could get the O2s out. I can move the exhaust out. I can do things a lot easier, pull transmission a lot easier without having to deal with the whole Y pipe being one piece. So anyways, I'm gonna get to pulling these exhaust bolts. So we have, I believe, 10 bolts that I have to pull. Mine are 10 millimeter on a stock manifold. It's gonna be a little bit easier and harder to get to at the same time. And typically when they're stock bolts, they're already broken is why you're moving them. These aren't broken because they're header bolts. They're a lot nicer hardware holding them on, but I'm gonna get to pulling these 10 millimeters out and maybe get this thing off tonight in one night. We'll see. Whew, let me tell you, this is a pain in the butt, but I got the top ones out. I wanted to do the bottom ones last, that way I can get that last bolt and pull it out from underneath with some steady hands. But let me tell you, most of the bolts on the top were easy, but there was one. Let me tell you, they're not 10 millimeter, they're 3/8 for the header. That's the exact size. 10 millimeter works fine, but a 12-point wrench that I had to use for the one, all I had, it's a 3/8. So got that halfway done. On to the next thing. Whew, that beat me up, but hey, almost got them done, all 5 in one night. So almost, it's getting dark, sun's getting a little low, so should have it done here and off in one night. That'd be pretty good and awesome if you ask me. So quick breather, get a drink of water, stay hydrated, back at it. Oh, alrighty, well, here we are. Didn't bust my knuckles, only cried a little bit. It's out. Got all the bolts in the side pocket of that bag so I don't lose them. And these headers are out. Looks like they weren't leaking from the actual ports, which is a common problem with Hemis, but they weren't leaking from the ports. It looks like everything looks pretty good. These are going to get all cleaned up before they go back on anyway. But if we take a look here, there's our crack. Yeah, it was getting pretty bad. Yeah, it had basically cracked 2/3 of the way around, like only that much. That's, you know, not very much before it was about to break off. So glad we got this done and off. Really wasn't that bad. I think I've worked on this maybe an hour and a half, so maybe 2 hours, not too bad. But gasket looked good. I've got more of these gaskets. Now some of you may be wondering, now that we've got this off, some things, some answers, some questions, maybe be informative a little bit while we're here. These are D-port, which means it is in the shape of a D, see? But these pre-Eagle exhausts, if you can't really tell in that picture, I'll see if I can zoom in here, they're actually square port. Now, those have been ported slightly to kind of match a little bit, but it's really not an issue. I talked to JBA whenever I bought these, and they came in as D ports instead of square ports. They said, well, we stopped selling the square port ones because we did some testing and noticed that there's no noticeable power difference on a dyno, on an engine dyno, of these headers being D port going on a square port versus a square port header going on a square port. So there's no noticeable power difference. And you know, it's understandable that there wouldn't be, because that exhaust is escaping into a bigger hole and going out to the tubes. So realistically, I don't necessarily like it, but it's what we have to work with, since these are the only headers that will fit on a four-wheel drive 2500 frame. So, but got them off, we're good. Let's go get them welded, so that'll be tomorrow. But that's it for tonight, guys. All right, so there's my welder pulling up right there. he's gonna fix this thing for me. Let's take a look at it. You can see we've already kind of cleaned it up a little bit. You can see light through that thing. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but he's gonna get it fixed. He got a TIG welder, got stainless rods. We're going to have to clean the ceramic coating off of that cracked weld. Already did right there a little bit, but here it is. Guys, so got it welded. It looks good. Everything's going to be solid, way better than the welds that JBA had on there from the manufacturer. But as you can tell, it's kind of cold out here, and it's because it's Saturday now. That was Tuesday when we welded it. It is now Saturday, and that's because it's been raining all week. So it kind of stinks. I couldn't work on the truck because I was just doing it in the yard. Maybe if I would have looked at the forecast, I would have pulled it into the shop there, but that's all right. We're going to get that put on. Go test drive it around town if I have time while I'm test driving it. I'm going to try to put it up on the scales at the truck stop and see. But first, before I can even put it on, I need to let it warm up a little bit. It's kind of cold out here. And also, I have to go to work for an hour because the delivery truck decided to show up on Saturday when we're not even open. So I'm going to go get that done. So after this, we're going to pick up where we left off and put it on. So see you guys around noon. Hey guys, I'm back. We're gonna get this thing thrown on, and one bolt at a time, but kind of in a time crunch, so I'm just gonna put it on and then we'll be test driving it here in a minute. All right, it's all back together. It's 8 bolts for the header and they are 3/8, just so I can clarify that. But it's all back together. I went ahead and took the liberty of calibrating the O2 sensor for the wideband while I had it out and in the fresh air, but it's all together, everything's on. To do that, I did pull the starter off, and I had to pull the Y pipe off and pull the header off. So back in reverse, header on, make sure to tight, start from the middle, work your way out to the outsides as you tighten, kind of like you're doing a cylinder head. Same kind of concept there. Get them tight, but not too tight, but you want them tight. And then put the exhaust on, and then I put the starter back on. So we're ready to start it. All right, well, let's see what she does. At the moment, everything's still looking good, oil pressure's still looking good. Don't like how rich that's running, but we'll check on it in a second after it idles down. Now I still have to put the fender in, but I wanted to start it first. It's all back up in there, welded nice. Sounds like a finely tuned sewing machine again instead of that clapped out nonsense. So, pretty awesome. Alright, so our wideband's returning back to a decent, there it goes. That's about what I usually expect out of it, about 14.2, 14.3 is usually what it reads. So, there's a bee in my, there's a bee. I'm going to get that thing out of here. But everything's looking good. Transmission's only reading 80, so it's not even warm at all. Wideband's looking good again. I don't hear a whole lot of clicks. I don't hear a lot of ticking other than the normal Hemi ticking that you normally would hear. Oh yeah, it sounds very smooth now. So I think we're in business, guys. I gotta go take it for a test drive. We're making good time. It actually only took about an hour and a half to put it back on. I'm gonna let this thing warm up, go through a heat cycle, go inside, get something to eat, and then I will be killing this bee, and then we'll take it for a test drive. Let's go! Alright, driving it down the road right now. Everything seems to be good. Everything, as of right now, is looking pretty good. Wideband's reading good, reading on track. Everything's really good. Let's give it a hell right here and see how she does. Just a little baby pass there. That wasn't full throttle, but because I'm not trying to rip the freaking bolt off of it already, but everything looks happy, sounds happy, sounds good. I got the cutout close because we're in town right now, but I think we're gonna be good, guys. I'm gonna end the video off here, and then we'll be going to the scales as a quick video to follow this up, and then coming out soon we'll be going to the track. Looks like tonight going to the track, so it'll be fun. Hopefully get a personal best, but you guys stay tuned. And then whoever, you still have time to guess on the weight, and if you get it close, then I got something special for you. So anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching Build a Motorsport. We'll see you on the next one.